Mr. Orty, this is a 6 years old talking to me. She said, Mr. Orty, it's the feelings. It's the feelings. It's those feelings. They're not nice. I don't feel good about those feelings. And I just don't know what to do with them. But when I shout at my dad, those feelings go away. So this is what a 6 years old girl told me, and it just opened a whole new avenue of understanding our kids' feelings, our kids' emotions. And I want to share with you how this conversation continues, because it's one of the most insightful conversations I've ever had with any kid. A big part of my job as a life coach is to help children and parents understand, connect with what's happening to them. A big part is to finding that metaphor, that idea, that way of explaining what is going on inside them that they cannot articulate it. And I do a lot of work on that, and I think a lot, and I test a lot of ideas. And every now and then I have these conversations that are priceless and that you will not find in any book, that it just happens on the spot and I cannot plan it. And this is what happened with this girl. This girl was describing me her feelings, but she was describing me her feelings in a way that I could never put together. Why is this so important? Why it's so important to help young people articulate the feelings? Is because they don't have the words, they don't have the structures, they don't have the maturity to put those things out. So they keep it in the mind and they just go over and over and over and over again, and it becomes an spaghetti plate of thoughts that are kind of mixing together and getting messy, and they don't know how to solve it because they cannot tell the beginning of one from the end of the other. So they get really confused. The other thing that happens when they're feeling like that is that they start blaming themselves. If I cannot do this, it's because something is wrong with me. If I cannot control myself, it's because something is wrong with me. And they start blaming themselves. And they start kind of making this worry, this concern becomes bigger and bigger and bigger every time. So that's why a big part of my job is to help them say, that's what happens to me. That's what I'm experiencing. Thank you for telling me. Now I can make sense of it. And this is what I want to share with you, because anger is one of those things that it just cannot be explained. And a lot of times we are afraid of explaining what's really behind that anger. So putting a bit of a structure in it is a great way to helping your kid to understand what's going on with them. But also it's a great way for you to understand what's happening to your young one. So this is the circle of anger. I put this structure based on the conversation I had with this girl. And this girl was coming from a divorced parents. She could spend 50% of the time with mom, 50% of the time with dad. Her behavior with mom was difficult but manageable. Her behavior with dad was all over the place. And they brought her to me to help with that behavior. And after a number of sessions, one day she said, Mr. Orty, it's the feelings. They're not nice. They're not nice. They are painful. They hurt me. Those feelings make me pain, make me hurt. Those feelings, I don't know what they are, but they're just bad. And I was like, wow, okay. And then she said, but when I shout, when I display anger, those feelings go away. When I'm angry with my dad, those feelings go away. Now it's interesting that she said go away, because obviously she doesn't know better. You know, I know that those feelings don't go away. All she's doing, she's covering them with the anger. She's outspeaking them. She's just shouting louder than the feelings. And this is a very normal dynamic. The harder the feelings, the harder the behavior they display. So what she was doing is she was masking those feelings with anger. And she was conscious of that. She was conscious because she had no other way of dealing with those feelings. She was at a boiling point, and the only escape she had, it was through anger. But then she said, and most people I talk this story, they can relate to this. She said, but then comes sadness. And so I can understand that. And she said, well, I'm sad because I made that unhappy. I'm sad because mommy was not pleased with me. I'm sad because of the whole situation. I am really, really sad of what has happened. And that is when the remorse comes and the kid asks for forgiveness, and most parents, most normal parents will say, okay, yeah, that's okay, let's kiss and make up and move on. But that sadness stays there. And so far, this part of the circle, the feelings, the anger and the sadness, I could say, okay, yeah, that kind of sounds like a normal pattern. But then she told me the next part, and the next part, I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting. She said, out of the blue, without me asking anything, she said, and then comes hate. I said, wow. I said, hate towards who or towards what? And she said, hate towards myself. I hate myself for what I did. I said, wow. So hopefully you can now see the circle, how it goes. Those feelings have to be put away, mute, shout, move, displaced with anger. But after the anger comes the sadness, and after the sadness comes the self-hate, which creates more feelings. And that vicious circle of feelings, it keeps perpetuating itself. And it's getting worse and worse, because that self-hate will create very painful feelings that build on the ones that she had before, and over and over and over and over again, that she has to quiet those feelings through anger, and then here I go again. So it's a continuous, ever increasing, painful circle of anger. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because it's really important that we understand what's happening in our kids' feelings, emotions, what is behind that behavior. The other thing is also because you can express that to them, you can tell them, you can understand what's going on, and you can try to do something about it. And finally, the next thing is to say, okay, if this is a circle, and that circle is continuously gonna keep going and going and going, where do I stop this? How can I stop this so we don't continuously feed that beast of anger that is inside my son or my daughter? And you know what? There's only one option. There's only one option. It's between the feelings and the anger. That's where we need to help them. Once the anger is there, the action is there, the sadness will come and the hate will come. And yeah, we can minimize those, but it's how do we help them avoid getting angry? How do we help them express those feelings, share those feelings, allow them to say it's okay, those feelings, so they don't have to quiet them down through anger. So this is not a technique, it's just an idea. It's an idea that you'd be amazed, I share with young people, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, as well as 15, 16, 17 years old teenagers. I share it with them, and the response I get is that, yeah, that makes sense. That resonates with me. It happens exactly the same to me. So they can be much more conscious of what they will do next time. And at the same time, me as parent, I can understand, okay, if this is the pattern, what do I do in each of those phases? Now, nothing is going to stop those phases from happening at one point or another, but what do I do is my choice when we are in each of those phases. What do I do when she's starting to warm up to get angry? What do I do in the heat of the moment? What do I do in the moment of sadness? What do I do in the moment of self-hate? So we can reduce the impact of that moment. And most importantly, how do I help my daughter or my son to stop that circle, to break that vicious circle of anger? So hope you enjoy this. It's a very, very interesting way, and I am so proud of this little girl and how much it's helped me and has helped already so many other young kids. And I hope it helps you as well. As always, you know where we are, helpingkids.co.uk. Feel free to email, text us, contact us through Facebook. I hope you like the message. Please leave your comments below, leave your questions, and we will always get back to you. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.